Hey there, I'm Salibuddy445.
Hey, I'm Scooter VA.
Hey there, Hans here.
Hey, I'm Dominor, and today we're going to be answering some of the questions you guys left in our comment section and in our Discord. Excuse the birds. Okay, first question here comes from Luna on YouTube. They asked, will you be continuing the Everything is Fine series? You did it justice with the voices and effects. Oh, thank you so much. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Right now, we are going to be finishing the first season. The second season, I want to do it, but we do have some stuff with the Beneath the Tree stuff coming out, and this kind of might be on the back burner until then, so I can't guarantee that we're going to be doing the second one anytime soon, but I do want to do it. Melanie on YouTube asked, what's the hardest part of the video making process? And then, favorite story you dubbed so far? As the editor, for me the hardest part is just finding a comic that would be good for dubbing. There's a lot of comics that I enjoy reading, but they might not necessarily have characters or a scenario that we can pull off, that I believe we can pull off. So yeah, literally just finding comics. I spend hours and hours and hours reading comics, and I do totally check out all your all suggestions, but it is hard to find comics that would make good dubs. And for my favorite comic, it's definitely the Duolingo comic.
I love that stupid owl.
I really like dubbing Berserk right now. Guts, he's a really cool character. He has a lot of confidence. He speaks very loudly. He speaks with lots of grit. And I love doing those kinds of characters, Edgier, more determined kinds, I really find fun. And I can really put my all into those voices.
The favorite story we've dubbed so far? Well, my favorite would be Cult of the Lamb. Both the official and the fan versions. I absolutely adore voicing a well-written villain, and he was just my perfect fit, which is why I enjoyed that one the most so far. Plus, voicing the cute little followers was also quite a joy for me.
Cassie asks on YouTube, how do you get permission to dub the comics, and how do you not get copyrighted for it? That's a good question. First of all, I don't always ask permission. Sometimes I ask after the fact, since every single one of my emails that I've sent before has been ignored or not replied to. So I generally say that our videos are published underneath fair use, since we are making this sort of medium a little more accessible to people to not just enjoy by themselves, but to enjoy with others, as well as people who have who are not able to read comics. Whether that's because they are visually impaired or they have a difficult time reading. But I do hope and encourage that everybody goes out and buys physical or digital copies to support the original artist as well. And if someone does have issues with their comic being shared on our page, you can contact us. We have an email that's in the description of our channel, as well as on our website, a form on our website that you can fill out. And if you request for your comic to be removed from a page, we will gladly remove it from the page. And even with that all being said, if you want to use some of our videos, the audios, in your comic reviews or whatever you're doing, it is totally there for you to use, of course, with credit. Let's spread the love of comics together. 60 Second Shorts asks, how do you find the stories you dub? I just read a lot of comics, and I find ones that I think would be a good fit for our voice team, meaning that there's a controllable amount of characters, that the story visually is easy to edit, so there's not a whole lot of vertical panels, yeah, and that it's horror, of course. If you have any recommendations, we do have a suggestions channel on our Discord. Please join and suggest. I do read the first chapter at least of every single thing that anyone ever suggests, because again, I love reading comics, and please send me your comics. Next part, how do you find the people to do the dub? So most of the voice actors, I found them on Discord. I had heard their demos, and some I had originally posted ads looking for VAs for another kind of unrelated project on the channel. When they just started the channel, I didn't know what I was doing. And they were just people whose voices sounded interesting to me, and they seemed like, a good fit for the channel. I wanted a nice, diverse sounding cast. And of course, I'm always really thankful for our VAs who have stuck around this long. For a whole year, actually. The channel is a year old now. And for some of our other VAs, they had reached out to me, or I had found them on other social media platforms where they had posted demos. So if you're interested in becoming a voice actor on the channel, I'm currently not really looking for anyone. But that being said, I always have time to listen to your demos. If you have a really cool demo, I don't know, I might change my mind. So join our Discord and, submit a demo. And of course, thank you for your love on this question. Quiet Tone on YouTube asks, what video editing software do you use for your videos? I use Filmora. It's an okay program, it's alright. I'm sure there's other options that are better priced and don't have a whole bunch of useless AI features. But I've used this program for years, so I'm stuck with it.
So you ask, how do we decide what voices to do for our characters? Well, I'd observe different aspects of the character like personality, physical traits, and even how they're drawn on the pages. For example, the lamb, which I initially gave a more higher-pitched and melodic voice in the first one-shot comic and for the white speech bubbles in the official comic. Though the change to black speech bubbles for the rest of the comic indicated something ancient was influencing them, so I added more raspiness to their voice to indicate the new presence and influence.
And when it comes to deciding what voice I want to give my characters, I generally like to read a little bit of the story to, look at their place in the story, the way they act, their role, and then also, of course, you gotta look at the character design. You're gonna really be able to tell what kind of voice you think they're gonna sound like, and you can just put that out there and, check it to see if it works,
When it comes to deciding what voices to give characters, I usually either ask some of my coworkers what they think, look at the source material, and create a voice from there. I also sometimes like to come up with my own idea of how I think the character would sound like. Add some inflections there, add some errors like stuttering, or a specific pattern of speech there, and voila, a unique character.
For me, when it comes to characters, I like to, of course, get to know the character a little bit, and where the voices come from. Generally, my voices come from like a bank that I have in my mind of voices I do to annoy people, and also my own voice that I change to different situations, whether that be like phone voice for work, my customer service voice, my party voice, the voice that I use to talk as my pet rabbit, who's real, by the way. His name is Bun Bun. And will you be dubbing Beneath the Trees When Nobody Sees Red as Spring? Yes, we will be dubbing it. So stay tuned.
How I feel about most people knowing me from Beneath the Trees When Nobody Sees? I'm fine with it. I'm actually quite happy that you guys enjoyed my performance so much. All of our performances, as a matter of fact.
Hey there, I'm Celebity445, and I don't think we're planning on making a gaming channel over at Dominura, but I make gaming content on TikTok and on YouTube, Celebity445. You can look me up on those platforms. I show off games that I think people would like to play, often smaller games. Don't mean to, self-promote here, but if you're looking for gaming content, then I've got that for you.
We do not plan on making a gaming channel. However, some of us do make gaming content, like me on my Twitch, if you wish to check it out.
Dragon Master on Discord asks, since you said any question, what is your opinion on Pokemon?
Pikapi, Pikachu.
I actually know nothing about Pokemon.
Pokemon, gotta catch them all.
Atsu on Discord asks, what is your favorite genre to dub? Obviously horror. I like the drama, the intensity, screaming and gore and stuff like that. But I also like comedy. I find like a combination of comedy and horror is honestly my favorite, which is why Everything is Fine is one of my, favorite series on the channel to like rewatch by myself when I'm having a bad day. Yeah, so I want to find more of those.
My favorite genre would be action and killer thriller. For no reason in particular, of course.
Skit on Discord asks, is there any comics that y'all refuse to dub because of how gruesome they are? The answer is no. Not because of like gore or anything, but usually because of sexual content. Unfortunately, lots of manga, they're like kinda inappropriate in that way, and I'm not comfortable with that, and I don't want my VAs to be doing that kind of stuff either. So yeah, lots of stuff I really enjoy reading, perhaps, is too inappropriate in that way to make it onto the channel. If there's anything vaguely NSFW, it is getting edited severely before it makes it onto the channel, so don't worry. There's a couple questions too that I get asked a lot on the channel that I thought I would just answer. Probably one of the most common ones is, where is this from? The answer is I'm not sure. This is just a sound that I've had on my computer from like my many years of making videos. And I don't know, it kind of just was just in my pile and I just used it because it sounded cool. If I do find it, if anyone knows, please post below. Another question I get is, do you edit your voices when you do solo dubs? So I do a lot of solo dubs on the channel where it's just me and I do all the voices. So that'd be like Girl from the Other Side, the Duolingo comics, Darkness, or Bibliomania. I do not edit my voice. I'm really good at doing voices. Like I said, I have like a bank of voices I use to annoy people in my head. And even when I record them too, I literally just read the comic from start to finish. I don't do different takes, so I'll be doing one voice like,
Oh my goodness, your dog is so cute.
woof woof. Please don't touch my dog.
If you touch my dog one more time.
I don't know, and I just do the voices just one after another. I don't even edit them. My neighbors must think I'm crazy. The other comments I see every now and then is, where do you get your music and how do you pick your music? So I have gotten most of my music from Pixabay. I've kind of changed that out a little bit because lots of the music suddenly becomes copyrighted, which means that we don't get any monetization money for it. All that money goes to the copyright holder of the music, which honestly is fine. You made the music, you can enjoy your copyright, but it's kind of annoying if it pops up out of nowhere. I kind of switched over to using YouTube music. So YouTube has like a big list of files that creators can use, including sound effects, which I use lots of the sound effects as well. I also use lots of public domain music. So classical music is music I like to listen to. So there's lots of classical music in the public domain, as well as lots of video game music. So like all the music in this video comes from that old Nexon game Mabinogi, if you remember that game. I also get music from other games like Granda Espada, which is one of my like childhood games that I love with the music, as well as other soundtracks that you can find for video games, which you can use in most videos without getting copyrighted. I also, when I pick music, I try to pick music that is going to express a certain emotion, make the viewer feel a certain way. And sometimes I like to, if possible, edit the music so that way sort of the apex of the music is coming at a really important time. And I could do that just by editing the music and by blending and fading things. To be honest, I'm not like a sound engineer or anything, but that's just something that I like to do to try to add more drama to scenes. But anyway, so that's the end of the questions. If you have any more questions, feel free to put them below, or better yet, join our Discord server. We have a permanent channel dedicated just to questions, and I will gladly answer those that I might not see here. And thank you so much to all the subscribers and to our channel member Holy Moses. What's up? What's good? And thank you so much, and have a wonderful day. See you in the next video.